Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Claire, and I am going to be talking to you about how to stay creative on Substack. Thanks so much to Kristen and the team for inviting me to talk to you today. I hope this session is super useful. Whether you are brand new to Substack or you've been there a while, there's something in there for everyone. I'll go ahead and share my screen and we'll get going. I've had a lovely spa today, so we have been up to our local spa in the village that I live in, and it's been a really nice couple of hours. I'm very relaxed, so hopefully this goes super well. So yeah, my message is stay creative on Substack. I've been writing on the platform for 2 years now. I have 3 publications, and there are lots of reasons that I could go into as to why, but I'll keep it really succinct today. I really enjoy spending time on Substack. I really enjoy being an editor of my own digital magazine there. I really enjoy hosting and holding space for my members over at Sparkle on Substack as well. I just feel like the platform is such an invitation to be creative, and that is the main thread through all of the work that I do. So whether somebody's coming back to their writing after a break, whether they've written all of their life but they want to try a different type of writing, whether they're interested in audio and video and all of those different mixed media ways that we can interact with the platform. I work with a lot of artists, authors, writers, small businesses. Yeah, it's just an absolute joy to do the work. Oh, next screen. Here we go. There we go. So my background is I am an engagement consultant and mentor. I had a 20-year career in the arts and cultural sector. Previously, before the pandemic, I worked on a lot of festivals and events, a lot of arts development projects, and I absolutely adored that work. When I fell pregnant with my second child in the pandemic, obviously everything went online, and I just saw for the first time what an opportunity it was to work in a new way and to balance some of the work that I'd been doing in person with working in a new way online. So yeah, I do a lot of work for people on Substack, with people on Substack, and still some arts development projects now and again. That's me. My publications are called Sparkle on Substack and Creatively Conscious. Those are my 2 main publications. In terms of the session today, we're going to talk about why I think it's important to shoot for high engagement on Substack, nervous system regulation online, Substack as social media, and the tools that we can use, and growth while you're asleep. One of my favorite topics. Okay. So in terms of the 2 publications that I want to focus in on today, these are the 2 publications that I have. Creatively Conscious is the name of my business and also the name of my Substack. So over there, it's magazine style. I have various different sections of topics that I talk about and write about, and I also do some space holding in workshops where we look to rekindle creativity for well-being, essentially. So there's a business focus, a sort of slow-lived entrepreneurial feel, but it's very magazine style with a membership behind the scenes as well. On Sparkle on Substack, it's really a space for all things Substack and staying creative on the platform. There is a space for beginners, there's my membership space, there's my diamond member space, and there are so many now: expert sessions, tutorials, posts, experiments that I've done. There is just so much within that portal of Substack education that's been around for about a year now, and I've worked incredibly hard to set up a space that is very welcoming to people who are creators who also like to write. So that's how I started, and that's the invite that I'd like to put out to others as well. So feel free to check either of those out, subscribe to one or both of them, whichever one floats your boat. I'd be very happy to welcome you. So the first topic that I wanted to talk about is nervous system regulation online. And just to reference that we are very new to navigating such a fast pace of notifications, input, decision making, community building online. And I feel like I have had a bit of a head start in this because my husband is a yoga teacher. And so our life really is built around how we manage our nervous systems, and always putting that piece at the kind of front and center of how we're coming to online, how we're coming to being online, how we're coming to using our phones. And we all know, everything is addictive about being online. It's fabulous. You've got all of this connection at the touch of a button. But also there are the more difficult sides to navigate. If a post does really well on Substack and there's an influx of new people, how do we manage that? What do we do if the notifications keep coming in? If we feel in that kind of hamster wheel of having to create to a certain cadence and put content out, how do we manage that piece? And I think it's just about balance. So, in terms of connection and what you're seeking, and going back to your why and why are you here on Substack? Why does it fit with your business ecosystem? Why does it fit with your creative ecosystem? And knowing what that creative practice is for you, you can't really go wrong. Whatever happens outside of that, in terms of a post doing well or not doing well, it's not attached to how you feel about your work. And I'm making it sound really simplistic, but it's just about, for me, really connecting back in with nature, connecting back in with life outside of being online. And this is coming from someone who's been online a lot the last year. So I think it's a really important part to make. And I just wanted to make it, and I just wanted to, yeah, hold space for you guys to think about that, to see if it lands, to see if there's anything that you want to riff off in terms of how you've experienced other platforms, because Substack does give us a slightly different experience at the moment to other social media-esque platforms. And I think it's important to know that when we come to the platform, we probably will have a calmer nervous system than we might have had on, say, TikTok, for example. So if you're new, that's what to expect. So it's really interesting to say this and hold this in our minds around Substack as social media, because the context of where Substack came from is it was a platform for writers, and it was a blogging platform, a newsletter platform, and it's sort of shifted into a new engine for culture. It's a wonderful place to spend time, but the social media tools, as in the tools that help us to navigate community, help us to feel more connected, help us to have more conversations, are very social media-esque. So there are some opportunities there, but there are also some invites to maybe kind of think about, okay, does this fit? Is this something that I need to use? Is this something that I want to use? Is it something that I want to plug into, and why? And how is it going to serve me going forward? So I would say ultimately Substack is a multimedia platform, a new engine for culture for sure, but there are these social media elements of it to navigate. So we kind of have to work out what it is that we want to do with those. So my first example is a post that I wrote called "Let's Cozy Round the Fire." And it was really the first time that I saw the potential of inviting community into my Substack space. So I published this April 13th, 2023 over on Creatively Conscious. And the invite was this very simplistic: let's gather around the fire, tell me what drink you'd bring, tell me something else about yourself, and it was just such a wonderful way to kind of set out a stall and say, I see this as a living, breathing community, an opportunity to connect in, at a deeper level. And at that time, this post did incredibly well. I wasn't seeing anything like this type of interaction on my posts. They were popular and people were finding them and subscribers were coming, but nothing like this. And it really kind of gave me that permission slip to think about how our language can impact how people land in our publications, how people feel in our publications, and what we want to do once they get there. And this is really quite far removed from that know, like, and trust factor that you might have heard about in marketing. This is really human to human connection. I believe it is. And that's what I feel like I'm doing here. Like, there was no ulterior motive. There was no sales pitch. It was like, let's just cozy in and like, tell me about yourself. That would be so lovely. At the time, I think, I had a very young child and my husband was very sick. And for me, all of these invitations were coming from a place of like, yeah, reaching out for connection, reaching out for community, wanting to invite people into that space, wanting people to meet each other, wanting people to discover this wonderful platform. So what I'd say is that these types of posts, you will see them now. They do exist on the platform. People can put them out. You can have those in your welcome email. You can remind people that they're there. And it's not another thing to do. It's an invitation to kind of step up and say, how do you want to invite people into your home? Like, what does this feel like? So for me, I'm inviting them to a beach party. That's what I would do. If I was an extrovert and not an introvert, but obviously you get to be both on the internet. So yeah, it's just really kind of honing in on what that invite is, what are you inviting your readers into to do, to say, to share, and if those readers are also paid subscribers or you're holding space for a membership, is it the same, is it different, how does that all feel? So that was a really wonderful thing and something that I'm a big fan of. So the other example that I wanted to share, that this is more recent, so this is obviously nearly a year later, is an invitation for folks to join almost like a catalytic writing challenge. So the idea was that it is a free essay club, and by essay I mean post, but obviously some of us like to call them essays, or personal essays or whatever, and that language has been adopted on the platform. So the idea was that people could write an essay of their choosing and work towards ticking off between 1 and 24 essays before the end of the year. So the post did really well, and lots of people were really interested in taking part. And the instruction that I gave them was to tag me in their posts as they published them. So that meant that me, as the editor, got to see what people are writing. And I definitely don't have time or capacity to read them all, but I will share a small selection every season to share back with the community and thank everybody for taking part. Now, this is work that I really, really want to do in the world. It's work that really lights me up. Also, I noticed that people were getting away from writing because of all of the social media-esque plugins and things that we can do, and yeah, things grabbing for our attention. And I really wanted to just bring it back to the writing. So it's part accountability thread, and it's part call out for let's give it a go. Yes, it'd be great if we got to 24 by December, but we're going to celebrate no matter what. So there's a cute little badge, and people can get the next badge when I do the update in the summer of the roundup. So I'm really, really excited about that. I do have to credit my husband, who is in Simon Hasel's Substack space. If you've not come across Simon's work, he does a slow read along of War and Peace, where his community do a chapter a day over a year. And so the badge idea was because one of the members of that community gave his community a badge, like designed some lovely badge up in Canva. And then he was on about some other badge that he'd really loved when he was little. And I was like, this is just golden. We're going to do badges. So we did that. So yeah, just in terms of the numbers and what can happen when we build community. So getting away from this kind of 24-hour content share, getting away from something being a lot of work and then just having a few eyes of it, eyes on it for 12 hours. This is something that builds over time. So launched at the end of March. I've had well over 50 tags since then. So the people that are tagging me, obviously other people see my name and then might come over and check out my Substack. They also sometimes link back to the original post. People ask about it in the comments. What's Essay Club? Can I join? So lots of people find the original post invite and have been finding the original post invite even up to now. So I'm recording this at the end of May 2024. Just for context, and it's because I set it up as this project. I set it up in a way that I could kind of magnetize people finding each other and people supporting each other. So once I publish the seasonal update, that'll kind of reignite and galvanize everyone again. It'll stir everybody up who maybe stopped after one or two, and kind of they'll come back up on the train and give it another go. So the idea is that it is sharing community, and it is giving people that permission to write the essays that they want to write, take their eyes off notes, take their eyes off chat, and just do the work. So yeah, it's been going really, really well. Within my members community, I host a 24/7 co-writing club as well, which is very, very popular. It's such a beautiful thing. I'm on there a few times a week, and I'm there every Friday for about 4 hours. Do my writing, and people will just come in and out, just drift in and out. There's music playing. We're in this beautiful library space. It's the nicest thing. So yeah, big fan of community. So in terms of social media tools on Substack, we've got notes, chat, threads, static posts, evergreen posts, and video and audio invites. In terms of all of this and all of the potential in this to build community and build subscribers, they all work, and they all work in slightly different ways. One of the things that I always come back to is, what do you want to do with your publication? What are your goals around your publication? Why have you come to Substack? So if your goal is to meet lots of new colleagues and potentially lots of new subscribers, it's great to spend time on Substack Notes, which is Substack's inbuilt social media network. So it looks a little bit like a Twitter feed, but it's way more pleasant and sophisticated than that. So you can spend some time there. You can start to see, I've got some posts on it as well that you can have a read of, some videos, but you can start to see what works there, what doesn't, what feels like it's like shouting into the abyss, what feels echo chamber. You can curate your feed. It's all possible. I would just say that treat it as you would treat work. So if you were heading over to the water cooler or you were heading over to the kitchen to make people a cup of tea, pop in, have a chat, and then leave again. I think that the scrolling of notes is probably not that helpful in terms of our creative practice, in terms of us coming and doing the work. But other than that, it's a nice place. Your chat is a bit like your WhatsApp chat for your subscribers. So your subscribers are the only ones that are going to see that chat. It can be for free, for paid, or for founding member subscribers. And I use it very, very readily on Sparkle on Substack to hold space for community questions and to have a bit of a chat about Substack and Substack-based topics. It works well for me. It can also be more chilled. Farah Store, who's head of UK partnerships at Substack, she has a chat open where anyone can start a chat, and the topics are anything from sort of travel, fashion, that sort of thing. It works really, really well. Threads are like a mini post. So you would just post a couple of sentences and you will put it out to your community. These work exceptionally well for me. I really like doing threads. So it's a post thread, and the idea is it's very short and you just get the conversation going, and all the conversation happens in the comments. And then we've got the static post, which is one that I mentioned at the beginning. So my cozy round the fire, and then obviously the essay club, which is then more of an evergreen post. And we can always link back to these places from welcome emails or in future posts that we do. The video and audio invites, this is where we're turning Substack into something that could be more of a space holder. So I've just recorded a video for my Diamond members, which is just to walk them through how to use the platform, how to find their resources, and spent some time doing that. It just means that instead of when someone becomes a founding member, a Diamond member with me, they just get a welcome email. They actually get to see me and talk to me and respond to me in that way. And that feels, even though it's asynchronous, it feels like a really nice and generous thing to do and something that I wanted to do. So I really, really like doing that. And it does take a little bit of time, but in terms of setup, I just record into Zoom, and I'm on Zoom most days. It's all become quite easy for us, hasn't it, to do that? So you could definitely have a think about how you might use that. And we've got the option to record video into Notes as well. So it's relatively new. People are just playing around with it. And that is the joy of Notes. It's only a year old. So anything that you want to try, you can just try out. Yes, we know what's worked on social media before, but Notes is a whole different thing. The audio invites, Substack tell us that audio helps grow our publication 2.5 times faster than just written posts. And this is super interesting to me. So we can read out our posts and we can give the context of where we are in the room. So I would describe what my view was. I would describe where I was. And I did quite a lot of those when I first started on Substack, in the first year. It was really, really nice to do. And I used to get a lot of warm responses. With my podcast, this is really like my first year of podcasting, and I'm just amazed at the number of downloads and the number of listens. I just think that direct line to my audience when they're out walking their dog or out, for a walk or a run, or however they're listening in the car, I just think it's such a beautiful thing, and it's such a beautiful space to talk directly to your people. So great for community building. So although we wouldn't see all of those bullets necessarily as social media tools, it's almost like we want to flip that language into community building tools, into engagement, into thinking about that human to human interaction and connection. And that's what feels really important and possible on Substack. So obviously it's always a bit embarrassing talking about growth, but I just feel like, I want you guys to know, I don't know where you are in your Substack journey, but this wasn't something that I thought was going to happen. Like, I didn't come to the platform planning any of this stuff. I've just been able to utilize my skill set and space hold for the people who've wanted to hang out with me either at Creatively Conscious or on Sparkle and Substack. So in April 2022, I started on the platform. My husband said, I think you might quite like this place called Substack. I'd seen Emma Gannon tweet about it, and I thought, oh, Emma Gannon's on there. That's interesting. love our books. Let's have a little look around. And then by the next year, it was about 1,000 subscribers. And then by January 2024, I was at 5,000 subscribers across the two publications, and it's just hit 8,000 today. So that growth has been due to quite a lot of different things that I've done with Substack. It's to do with the quality of my content, the quality of my community building, how I hold space for individual people, individual readers, subscribers, members. It's the work that I want to do in the world. So I'm incredibly proud of that growth timeline and trajectory. I think just knowing that that is possible on Substack right now is a brilliant invite for you, you know, because people always want to say, oh, well, I'm too late to a platform. It grew because of this, it grew because of that. But right here and now on Substack, we're getting in at the ground floor. So come and get in if you're not already there. Okay, so everybody loves this stuff. So I just did a bit of a growth while you were asleep. So one of the most brilliant things for me about coming to Substack is that I didn't have a big platform outside of Substack. So I had a small mailing list of 300 people, 350, I think. And then I had an Instagram of like heading towards 3,000. Nobody saw my posts. Just this Instagram for a second there. And when I came to Substack, there were people in America, in Australia, in Canada, in Europe, all over the world finding my work. And I could see them all on this map that Substack give us in the back office. So I played around with different publishing times because you can schedule posts. So I was playing around with a 3 a.m. publishing time weekly. So the Americans would see it before they went to sleep. And then it was there for the UK folks and the European folks when they woke up in the morning. So it was really, really interesting playing around with the different timings and seeing what happened when I posted at different times. Obviously, those posts have more life than just people who were online at that time. But it was just, yeah, it was a really, really cool thing waking up to like loads of beautiful messages from the other side of the world. I absolutely loved it. With the recommendations tool, my publication has grown. Over 3,000 subscribers have come through the recommendations tool. So that's other people recommending my Substack, which is just absolutely epic. And I don't have huge Substackers on there recommending my Substack. So it's all relatively small Substackers like me who have recommended me to their audiences. You know, I say small, but some of them are growing now and have grown exponentially. So there might be some bigger ones in there now. But when I first started out, I could see that that was growing and it was growing really steadily. And that all just happens in the back office. In terms of the reshares and the restacks of my work, that's always been, it's such a platform of generosity. So that's always been something that people have led with. You know, I see the other people on Substack as my colleagues. I want to support them. So there's a reciprocity there that's possible. There's a respect there that's possible for the work that we're doing. So once that gets shared out on notes or other people linked to your posts and stuff, then obviously all of that growth is just exponential. I've enjoyed doing a lot of guest posts and collabs. It's been a joy, to be honest, just being able to find this writerly voice and to bring some of my creativity to that, and write in lots of different ways. So sometimes I'll have a couple of guest posts a month go out, other times it slows down. So yeah, I just think it's all there and it's all possible. And yeah, I'd really love to see you do something on the platform and come and find me in my community. So have a think about what connects for you. So in terms of what's possible next, and staying connected, we've got the membership of that's called Sparkle on Substack. So it's the same name as my publication. So you can head in and become a paid subscriber. There are two different levels. There is the regular membership and then there's diamond membership. So there's various different elements of support depending on what you feel you need. And I'm currently offering strategic support via DM for anybody that joins as a diamond member before September. So you guys would have time to jump in at that level if you wanted to, and then that DM support won't be open anymore. That's just like a limited time offer. I've also got a live program coming up, which launches on the 1st of July. I'm so excited. So it's called Your Beautiful Substack Magazine. And the idea is that we are building a digital magazine on Substack, and we are becoming editors of our own work. So we're going to walk through exactly how to do all of the different things that I've spoken about today and more. It's all going to be packed in so you guys really understand how to own a magazine online that is under a Substack publication. And then I've got downloadable resources available today, which will help you to grow from Substack naught to £10,000. You can translate that into dollars if you want to, but that's where I got to a little while back. I think it was December last year. And so I made a platform of resources for other creatives that feel like that might be something that they were interested in doing. And really just that helping hand to try and work it all out. So people get very confused about what to paywall, when to paywall. You know, they're wondering, is there a golden goose? How does this all work? How many of my subscribers are going to convert? And actually, we can expect anywhere between 3 and 5% of our subscribers to convert. So you can work out quite easily based on a percentage what your trajectory is going to look like. And all the tools are in there to help you do it, plus a whole load of videos and other resources and access to a community as well. So thank you so much. It has been so lovely. I know it's just been a whistle stop through and an introduction to me and my work today, but hopefully there've been a few takeaways for you and you've had a nice time. As I said, you can join me at Sparkle on Substack, over on Substack. Whenever you're ready as a free or a paid subscriber, and I'd absolutely love to welcome you to the community. If you have any questions about Substack, I've got lots of open posts where you can ask questions, you can meet other community members, you can find out how other people's journeys have gone. And I think that's it for today, but thanks again to everybody for tuning in, and hopefully I will see you over on Substack really soon.